So hey, there's something I want to talk about that's been on my mind for a while, and I want to express it in this video, and that's dealing with the dreaded B&M Rattle. Now, this is something that's popped up a couple of years when folks noticed their newer roller coasters weren't as smooth as they used to be. I've definitely noticed this as well, and me along with other people have been pretty vocal about it. I've also noticed there are enthusiasts out there that are like, why are you complaining about the Rattle? Or enthusiasts complain about everything. But here's the thing, right? If you're part of the why are we complaining camp and you've never experienced a B&M roller coaster in their heyday, meaning in the 90s or the 2000s, give this video a listen. But before I start, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Coasters and Travels for more content like this. I was born and raised in B&M country, aka Florida. We're talking Kumba, Muntu, the Hulk, Dueling Dragons. The mid to late 90s is what I will call the golden years for B&M. All those rides I've mentioned I rode in their opening year, and I have the pictures to prove it. Well, for Kumba at least. Back in the day, they were known for two things. A, for being reliable, which they still are to this day, and B, having a glass smooth ride experience. I remember when I first rode Kumba back in 1993, I was just so blown away by how intense and how smooth the ride was at the time. B&M definitely brought us into a more modern age with their innovative roller coaster designs. And there's something about how their coasters are aesthetically pleasing in looks and how it rides so well. Their engineering at the time was on point because some coasters back in the day are still running great now. Muntu is one great example of how even though the coaster opened in 1996, today it runs so smoothly with zero headbanging. Of course, over time, some coasters did get rough like Kumba and Kraken, but it's been what, 20 plus years since they opened? Hell, even coasters in the 2010s have opened with no issues. For instance, Wild Eagle that opened in 2012. My last ride was in 2023 and it was still a pretty smooth ride, even in the outer seats. Mako opened in 2016 and is still glass smooth to this day. But now, man, these recent coasters have opened with what is now called the B&M Rattle. It's not rough like an old school Vekoma, which I'll be talking more about them later. It's like a shake that's coming from either the train or the wheels that give that rattle feel. If you weren't aware of B&M's history, then you may not see it as a big deal. It's not uncomfortable, but it's very, very noticeable. And there's 3 coasters I've ridden with this unintended feature. Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger. I got my first ride on this coaster back in 2024, and I was fooled at first because I thought this was a pretty smooth ride, but my first ride was in the middle seat. And the middle seat of that roller coaster is the smoothest by far. But I noticed when I rode again on an outer seat, that's when I start feeling the rattle. I'm like, oh, okay, there goes the rattle. It was not there in the middle, but the further you go out to the end, you will feel that rattle for sure. Phoenix Rising over at Busch Gardens Tampa Bay, I rode it in an opening year back in 2024, and it has a slight rattle, but it's not as bad as I expected it to be. It was still pretty fun. I still enjoy the ride myself. It's one of my favorite family inverted coasters. So yeah, it's still a pretty fun ride, but you can still feel the rattle. But the worst ride I've ridden that had a very glaring rattle was Penguin Trek over at SeaWorld Orlando. Oh boy. Now, if you want to feel a B&M rattle, go ahead and ride Penguin Trek because it's very apparent. The 2 most apparent places are really anywhere where it turns, you can just feel it rattling. And I know the last turn before the brake run, you can absolutely feel it. It is glaringly obvious. I also remember watching Iron Menace on Media Day and everyone saw that little shuffle near the end of the ride. Hell, even recently with Rapterra, I saw a lot of bouncing on that launch in the outer seats. For someone who's ridden B&Ms for over 30 plus years, it's like a disappointment, man. It's like this is not the B&M I remember. There's definitely a difference between when they first came out to the scene to now. I don't know if it's the type of steel they're using or something changed within their engineering process to allow these imperfections to happen, but I hope they at least acknowledge that there's a problem. I'm sure the general public, or who we call GP, don't see this as a big deal. Kids especially won't care about that rattle, so they'll continue enjoying rides like Penguin Trek and Phoenix Rising. But as loud as vocal minorities can be, and roller coaster enthusiasts are indeed a vocal minority compared to the GP, I'm sure B&M got the memo. It's funny to think about, but you can say that Vekoma and B&M switch roles. Old school Vekoma was known for being rough with their boomerang model and their SLC model, aka the hang and bang. Over time, Vekoma stepped up their game, and now the current Vekoma has been cooking, baby, and they're finally bringing their new school rides over to the United States. I'm really looking forward to riding their tilt coaster Siren's Curse at Cedar Point later this year. I got a chance to ride Big Bear Mountain in 2023, and boy, I was shocked how glass smooth the ride was. Can't say that for B&M newer roller coasters. So in conclusion, we hold B&M to a high standard they set themselves, and recently they have not been meeting those standards, so it's not just us complaining. It's us wondering what they're doing differently and if this will be the new standard moving forward, which I hope not. Hopefully B&M acknowledges that this is an issue, and hopefully they will fix it in their future roller coasters. So yeah, that's how I feel, and I said what I said. So let me know what you think in the comments about the B&M Rattle. Have you experienced it? Do you think it's a big deal? Do you think it's not a big deal? Let me know all of that in the comments, and I'll see you next time.